Good day, trader. It's time for our weekly Forex outlook for the 3rd through the 7th of July. Remember, the 4th of July will be celebrated in the U.S., so it won't be much happening during that day, but we'll continue on trading the rest of the week. First off, let's look at the dollar index. Right now, the dollar index is on the bottom portion of a larger pattern trend line, but it is not giving a strong impulse up. So what I'm expecting is possibly a trend continuation pattern to move up and then more downward movement towards this larger pattern trend line. So we'll see how it works out, but right now that's the indications I'm getting, that this is going to be a trend continuation pattern based off of this strong bearish move and continuation of the bearish movement. Next, crude oil. Crude oil gave us some nice movements last month, and now it's continuing off of this bullish bounce. I'm looking for another trend continuation pattern since it is over bought right now. Trend continuation pattern and continuing up towards this larger pattern. Gold. Gold once again is at a reversal point. It can break north at any point, but I'm expecting it to probably move a little lower before making its move up. And once it gets to this larger pattern, we'll see what it does. Then it could bounce and continue lower or break out and make new highs. So we'll see once it gets to this point. But for this week, we're looking for the bullish move. Onto our Euro USD pairs. Euro USD along with the dollar index itself looks like it's forming a trend continuation pattern for more movement north. And when it gets into this area, we'll see what it does, if it continues to go north or if it bounces and makes a bearish move. So that's what this trend line is for here. We have a uptrend until this trend line is broken. I'm still looking bullish on the pair. Pound dollar, same thing. We have highs here that it is coming to look like it retests, and once it get into this area, we'll see what it does. Right now, pound dollar is moving up into that possible reversal area, and we'll look for bearish movement once it gets into this area. But right now, it is bullish onto the dollar. The pound dollar is bullish. And it is overbought, but like I said, right now it hasn't given a clear bounce, and until we get a clear bounce, we're not going to worry about it coming down yet. USD CAD last month had some good moves off of that. I'm looking for a trend continuation pattern to form here and more bearish movement. Pound dollar nearing a reversal point at the top here. It's going to complete head and shoulders pattern here. So we'll look for a definite bearish movement once we get a bounce, a confirmed bounce up in this area. But we're bearish for the pound dollar. Correction, that pound yen. What is my brain going? It's a long day trying to get this video out. The dollar yen. We are bearish on the dollar yen. And if you can get in on this bounce at the top, it'll be a good move for you. Dollar chief. Same thing, looking for continuation patterns. Once a nice pattern form, we'll look to sell the bounce or the break of that pattern. But right now, price is climbing, and we're waiting for it to reach its top, and then selling, still bearish. New Zealand US dollar is a bit trickier. It's in this ascending channel, and we have a little RSI divergence and MACD divergence. but it hasn't given a clear bounce yet. So still iffy on this pair right now. We'll wait to see, but if it follows along with the dollar index, it should continue moving um, in an upward direction right now, and then we'll see when it chooses to move. Aussie is the same way. It's in a reversal area, but it still looks like it wants to move north. So let's see what it does. Then we'll update the pair as we go. Euro pound gave us a nice double top, and so we're bearish on this pair. Looking for it to break this lower trend line here and give us some setups. This week it might make a move back up into this area. So like I said, don't trade until you have a clear entry trigger. But I am bearish on this pair, just looking for a reason to pull the trigger. Euro CAD, just like a lot of the CAD pairs based off of that oil, I'm expecting it to continue bearish eventually, but right now looking for this week, looking for a move, a bullish move, maybe to these highs, back up into these highs, or maybe up into these highs. So we'll see what it does, and like I said, we'll update it as we go. But right now, you see RSI is not dropping like a rock. It is falling correctively, which means we're looking for another move to come north. Euro yen. Euro yen is in the midst of forming a possible double top or a money trade for our guys. We're looking for it to break this trend line and give us that bearish movement that I'm expecting for most euro pairs. So look for a bounce at the top or a break, and we'll update as we go from that point. Euro Aussie, same thing. We're looking for it to move down. Right now it's in this descending channel or flag, looking for it to make another leg down and maybe bounce off this lower trend line before moving north. But this week I'm looking probably for the definitely for the bearish move down, and then we'll see where price goes then, because it can retrace all the way to this low. Euro New Zealand, kind of the same situation. We have that bullish impulse, and now we're in a kind of a corrective pattern. Possibly can move down lower, but it eventually will break north again. So that's what we have right here for Euro New Zealand. Euro Chief, the infamous turtle. Right now, a turtle is in an ascending channel. It has a lot more room to the top, but eventually this pattern will break down. So it's just a matter of when. So just keep your eye on the turtle and look for your bearish bounces or breaks of this pattern. Pound yen. Pound yen, like the other yens pairs, is in a reversal area. It still has some room north if it wants to go, but I'm looking for most yen pairs this week to come short. So I'm looking for any entry that I can to go short on this pair. It would be great if it came up to the top into this area, which would be a stronger trade and a better risk to reward, because I always put my risk, my stop outside of my trend lines, because that's my pair confirmation area where I know the price should not go above. So that will be a better trade for me if it came up to the top and then reverse. But like I said, I can't make price move. I can only enter and exit my trades. Pound CAD is squarely. I'm leaving that one alone. Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie is in an ascending channel, but it's currently forming a flag. So this flag can come all the way back down to this lower trend line before moving up. So Aussie pairs, I'm looking for them to make move up just like this one. So look for price to come down into this yellow trend line or the orange trend line, and then make a bullish bounce. Pound New Zealand is a little clearer. It's the same type of information as the Pound Aussie, except for, as I said, it's a lot cleaner. You have a nice clean flag setting up, looking for bounce here to make a bullish bounce, another leg down to make a bullish bounce. So that's what we're looking for this week. But as you know, price can do what it wants. All I do is draw my patterns and trade my patterns. Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD looks like it gave a bounce last week, at the end of last week, but we're still bearish overall on this pair. But you can do some trading within the zone area on this pair because it is currently making a move up. So until it stops its bullish move and heads back south, you can trade back and forth. But it's not something I would mess with because, once again, my overall bias for this pair is short. So we're looking for it to break bearish eventually. Aussie Chief, strange looking little pattern, but it is holding this pattern. We had a nice bearish impulse. Now we're getting a long correction, possibly coming back to this high. But eventually it will break bearish. So that's what we're looking for Aussie Chief. And Aussie Chief has been a real great pair. It gave some great moves, as you can see, over the last weeks and months. Really nice clean moves, and this looks like no different. Nice bearish move here, and then a nice long correction, looking for another move down. And then finally, I think this pair is going to go bullish on us and completely reverse out, but not as of yet. Aussie Yen, just like the other yen pairs, kind of a strange ascending channel that hasn't completed, but it eventually will break down. We have our divergence, slow divergence here on MACD. RSI is pointing down, so it's just a matter of looking for a bounce or a break of the pattern, and we're looking for it to come from here, make that bearish movement down. So let's catch it. Aussie New Zealand, nice setup for this week. This one actually is one of the cleaner setups. Made a nice bearish bounce and now it's forming a continuation pattern. We'll see when we get another top of this pattern. It's probably already forming on lower time frames, but for the weekly outlooks, I only go down to 4 hour for you guys. Our traders go down into 1 hour, 15 minutes. But for us right now, the continuation pattern is not completely formed, but we know where it's going. So look for a bearish bounce or a break once you get the completion of this continuation pattern. New Zealand yen, just like the other yen pairs, that little funky ascending channel, and we're hoping that it gets into this hit zone area here and reverses from the top of this trend line, or even moves up near the larger pattern and reverses. But nonetheless, just like the other yen pairs, we're looking for the next week or two the yen to get stronger. New Zealand CAD, another nice setup for this week. This is another pair that I'll definitely have on my watch list because of the nice clean setup. Has a lot more room to move up, but eventually this price is going to break down because it's a nice clean flag pattern, and we're expecting the strength in CAD pairs. So I would definitely keep an eye on New Zealand CAD as one of the hot pairs for this week. Final pair, New Zealand Chief. New Zealand Chief is forming a continuation pattern. It's not as clean as I would like it, but it is eventually going to fall down. I'm expecting it to probably extend this pattern up to something like a ascending wedge, but right now it's not. The top is not clear. What we're looking for is a completed pattern, and then we can make a decision. But right now we're still bearish on this pair based off of this nice bearish impulse here. Well, guys, that's all I have for this week. Hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please post them. Subscribe to the channel so you can get any updates or information. I also have been answering questions via video and trading view. So if you have any questions about what I'm doing or any questions period, just ask me and I'll try to do a video response, also a trading view response, so that way I can explain it clearer. Well, that's all I have. Good trading.